Stories of Hope. Brought to you by Barasch and McGarry, lawyers for the 9/11 community. For more information, visit 911now.com.
This weekend, so many of us will remember and pay tribute to those we lost on September 11th. And now it's time to also think about the survivors and all of those who lived near Ground Zero. More people have died of 9/11 illness than those who actually perished that day. Joining me now is Michael Barasch, and from NYU Langone, Dr. Marc Wilkenfeld, who says now is the time to take care of yourself and register for the WTC Health Program and the Victim Compensation Fund. That was a mouthful, but you are chock full of information, and thank you both so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
We've been covering these stories of hope all morning. This story is obviously very personal to all of us, especially in the media, because we covered it. I also happen to live 5 blocks away from the World Trade Center, so this holds a near and dear place in my heart. But this is truly about hope. And for those who don't know about the Victim Compensation Fund, Michael, what is it exactly?
So Congress passed the Zadroga Health and Compensation Act, named after my client, Detective James Zadroga. When they did his autopsy, they found ground glass in his lungs, asbestos, lead, all these carcinogens. EPA said the air is safe to breathe. That wasn't true. But we all came back to our lives. We came back to school, to our homes, to our businesses. And what happened? The non-responders were breathing the same toxins as the first responders, the same as the cops and the firefighters. So not surprisingly, we're now coming down with the same cancers, the same respiratory illnesses. Well, Congress did the right thing. They created the health program and the victim fund. And what we're here today, and we so appreciate your shining a light on this, is non-responders aren't registering.
Right.
And that's so frustrating for us.
And so you say, even if you're not sick, you should, now is the time to sign up for this.
100%, because both the health program and the victim fund require proof that you were living, working, or going to school there. Look, the cops and the firefighters, their job is easy.
Right.
Their unions have done a wonderful job educating them, getting their proof. But you know how hard it is to prove where you were living 21 years ago, or proving that you were working for a company that's now out of business? So I tell people who are healthy, don't wait until you get cancer. Don't leave it to your wife or your spouse when you die to
try
get
to pick
this
up the
proof.
pieces, right.
Right, you've got to get witness statements from people, and they may not be here in 20 years.
Right. So true. Dr. Wilkenfeld, the misconception is that you can only get support if you were a first responder, to your point. But you've treated a lot of people who lived and worked near the World Trade Center who weren't necessarily first responders. So what are the benefits of the WTC program?
Right. Well, first of all, thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
And second of all, I also live very close by. I live less than a mile from Ground Zero, so it's very personal for me as well. When Congress passes the Zadroga Act, they included survivors, and the survivor program includes people who live downtown, people who worked in offices downtown, which could range anything from waiters in restaurants to Wall Street brokers, right, and students, and also passerbys, people who just happen to be walking by on that day. So they're included as well. And the benefit is that they'll get ongoing health monitoring, and if they come down with what's called a 9/11 related condition, right, they can get treatment for that without out-of-pocket cost. Now, many people don't know about this. When you think 9/11, what do you think? You think responders.
Right.
You know, there's a program for firefighters, right? There's a program for cops, right? There's a program for iron workers, but there is a program available for the survivors, and I think people just need to know about it, including my neighbors. I get stopped on Grand Street sometimes, and people say it's a terrible story. My husband got blood cancer, and he's very sick. Do you have any advice? Because neighbors are always asking for advice. And I say, well, they're part of the program, aren't they? And they're like, oh, what program?
Right.
And I said, well, you were living here, right? You were living close by on 9/11, and you breathe in toxic dust. And this dust has been shown to be related to the cancer, and you're eligible for benefits because of that. And they're like, really?
Yeah.
I'm like, absolutely. So I think it's more of a process of informing people that this is what's available to them.
And I mean, I started this interview by saying I lived 5 blocks away and I had no idea about this. But an interesting facet here, 90% of first responders have enrolled in the WTC Health Program and VCF. Less than 10% of civilians, you were talking about your neighbors. Why do you think that enrollment is so low? Is it just that we feel fine today, and we don't know what the future holds?
Great question. It's either because they don't know about the program, or they think it's just for firefighters and cops, or they feel guilty. And they don't want to take money away from firefighters and cops. I have to assure you, As I said, we made 25 trips to Washington with the unions, with the Feel Good Foundation. This Victim Compensation Fund and the health program are permanently extended and fully funded. So you're not taking money away from anyone. And this is a real chance to protect yourself, to protect your families. You know, people who have had chemotherapy,
Sure.
it can bankrupt you,
Sure.
even if you have health insurance.
Financial toll, emotional toll. I hadn't even considered the guilt factor. But doctor, I wonder, what are some of the illnesses that you have seen?
Right. So I just want to say it's not only a financial issue, because I think people, if they think it's about money, people are less likely to enroll. It's about monitoring. It's about making sure that you get checked. We see things like asthma. We see sinus problems. Unfortunately, we're seeing a lot of cancer. As time goes by, you see many more survivors developing cancer. And as you know, with cancer, if it's caught early, it can be treated.
Right. I'm a cancer survivor. I have prostate cancer. It's one of the most common cancers linked to the 9/11 toxins. Thankfully, I went for my annual World Trade Center health program. They took my PSA from my blood test. That showed a spike. I followed up, and early detection has saved me.
Saved your life.
Skin cancer is the most common cancer.
Yeah.
Breast cancer for women, and you know how many women missed their mammograms during COVID. So I implore everyone, get into the health program. It's free. It can save your life. They've linked 68 cancers.
Wow.
There's a presumption linking all these cancers, even if you have a family history of breast cancer or skin cancer. The presumption is the toxins were so bad that your cancer is linked.
Right. And there's a second part. So there's a research part. From a medical point of view, we're seeing a lot of conditions that we believe are related, and we've shown scientifically that they are related, and we're trying to push to get coverage for these conditions.
Research, coverage
now,
for research.
if patients have a rare condition and they don't go to any of the programs,
Then the research goes nowhere.
then we don't know.
You two have been a wealth of information. Thank you so much for joining us. I know this story is very personal to you, as well as so many of us and so many of our viewers, so we appreciate your time
Thank
and
you
the
for following
information.
it.
And to learn about the September 11th Victim Compensation Fund and free lifetime health care still available to those affected by ground zero toxins, just contact Barasch and McGarry or visit 911now.com. We'll be right back.